What is going on, guys? Wally here with information on the Taken King Grimoire. Now, we have access to a majority of all the information so far. Now, I'm going to tell you that this is sort of spoilery, so if you're the kind of guy that wants to step back and collect all the ghosts and then read the information, then I would totally recommend continuing doing that. However, if you're like me and you start to get all jittery and you want to open a Christmas present on Christmas Eve, this is awesome. So I've been reading a lot of information here. There's information about Saint 14, that he's maybe not dead, still alive, that he could be the son of a certain influential member in the tower. I'm not going to give any more away than that. You guys can, of course, read it. There's information on the Vault of Glass and more information on Oryx, the Taken King, and all of the Hive underlings. Of course, there's information on Rasputin too. I can continue going. There's so much good stuff here. But again, I don't want to give it away because, like I said, I know there's some people out there that really don't like spoilers, and I can respect that. But with this information, you can expect more lore videos from me here on the PlanetDestiny channel. With that, I'm so excited, man. I don't know how you guys feel, but the lore in Taken King is shaping up so far to be the best yet and to be the most expansive. So if you don't want any spoilers, I recommend just clicking off the video now. However, I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the most interesting stuff we've read so far. So in the story, we've heard about this a little bit before. We saw a bit of this in some of the cutscenes, but the Queen has access to a weapon called the Harbingers. Now, the Queen has access to two weapons of awesome power. First is Charybdis, which is a gravity-type weapon, and the second is the Harbingers. Now, the Harbingers are run by a group of witches and seers called the Techians or Techians, and they're called the Coven. The group itself is called the Coven, and they have access to Harbingers. But these Harbingers appear to be actual living things. They're not just mindless weapons. They appear to be some form of living weaponry that the Queen has direct access to, that she's actively using on the Dreadnought and Oryx's forces. However, it also appears that these Harbingers are linked directly to Oryx in some way. There's a couple lines in there saying that if she stays in too long, Oryx will kill her. We see a bit of this too with Eris, that Oryx has the ability to kind of mind meld, if you will, or some sort of mind consciousness replacement where he has the ability to kind of get in there with his tendrils and mess with people's heads. So apparently it's not just going to be Eris affected by this, but it's also going to be the Queen. Now, one more piece of spoilery kind of content I'm going to give you before I let you read yourself is, of course, the last word in the Thorn. So we hear a bit more story between Judge Yor, Shin Malphur, and Jiren Ward. So I'll go ahead and sum it up briefly. But again, if you don't want to hear it, you want to read it for yourself, I recommend doing that. It's a fantastic story. I don't think it's totally finished yet. There's some holes there still. But it's obvious that this story is going to continue moving forward. But let's get into it. So what we understood in the Jiren Ward, Dredgen Yor, and Shin Malphur saga was at this point in the story, Dredgen Yor, it suggested at least, that he killed Jiren Ward. But what isn't filled in, what was the biggest plot hole, was how did Shin Malphur get his hands on the last word, and how did they meet at Dwindler's Ridge to have that final shootout? So this is all explained now, and I want to tell you more, but I honestly think you guys should read it. It's really good. I don't think the story's done, though. I think there's a little bit more they have yet to explain, specifically on the whereabouts of Shin Malphur, but it's pretty much guaranteed at this point that both Jiren Ward are gone, and of course Dredgen Yor is dead, but Shin Malphur could still be out there. Now, on top of all of this lore goodness, I also recommend the Books of Sorrow. Now, the Books of Sorrow explain the Hive backstory as to why the Hive are Hive, why Oryx is the big bad guy that he is, and their motivations. This is utterly fantastic because some of the other enemies in Destiny don't really have such obvious motivations, or at least motivations that we can understand. And even with that, I haven't even begun to cover what's in the Grimoire for Taken King so far. It's utterly expansive. It's awesome. I'd say it's maybe like doubled or maybe like a little bit like 75% of the original vanilla storyline plus the expansion. There's a lot of information here. I haven't covered weapons, the Taken, the Cabal, the Hive, not even to mention the Books of Sorrow and information on the origins of the Hive itself. There's so much good information in this post, guys. So if you're looking for more lore information, more just goodness in terms of story and background of the Destiny universe, I recommend it. But if you're kind of like me, you want to hold back, don't read everything, anything. Don't spoil yourself right away. Try to find those ghosts and, of course, try to experience the story for yourself and then use the cards as sort of a backup or reserve knowledge for the overall story. That will do it for me, guys. I appreciate you all very much. Tune in for our streams and, of course, stick around for more Taken King content. I'm out. Peace.